I welcome you all to this exciting panel about how AR will affect the content industry. We have great speakers here, so this session will be really, really interesting. We have Karmelina, Parouka, Vice President of International Digital Content and Engagement from Viacom MTV. Hello, Karmelina. Welcome. Steve Sullivan, General Manager of Holographic Video at Microsoft. Welcome. And finally, Leen Segers, from its co-founder of LucidWeb. Welcome, Leen. Well, my name is Maria. I'm from Medina Media. We are a production company, as many of you must be, and we have always been really keen on new technologies and the application of them on our productions, such as 4K, and we also organize, because we think it's a very important thing to be in contact with top engineers and tech experts. We celebrate different professional events regarding new technologies. One is VR in July in Malaga in Spain, and the other one 4K in November, also in Malaga. We really think that tech and content people must have a permanent dialogue, and I'm really honored to be here and that MIPTV is celebrating this type of sessions, because I think that most of you will learn a lot about this and help you to move forward in the production field. So, well, Karmelina, if you want to start, just a brief introduction of you and your company.
Sure. My name is Karmelina Parouka. I head up digital strategy and production for Viacom International Media Networks. And I get to work on some of our biggest global events, such as the MTV EMA, with oversight over content and social media.
Okay, thanks. And Steve, if you want to do a brief introduction.
Thanks. I'm Steve Sullivan. Been at Microsoft for about 6 years now, working on this project around video holograms. And we've done it for HoloLens and VR devices and mobile devices, you name it. We'll talk about it more today. Before that, I was in the visual effects industry at Lucasfilm as head of R&D for a while. So a lot of the things we were doing there, we're trying to bring to real life at Microsoft.
Thank you. And Leen?
Hello everyone, my name is Leen. I'm a co-founder of LucidWeb. I'm definitely a smaller company than the other two speakers here. So we're all about cutting-edge technology that's called WebXR, so basically bringing VR and AR to the browser.
Great. So let's start the session with Karmelina. If you can talk about your AR project with the MIPTV EMAs.
Sure. The MTV EMA, for those of you that are not aware, is the Europe Music Awards. It is the biggest music award show we have at MTV International. And every year we've tried to push the envelope when it comes to innovation and experimentation with new tech and platforms. In fact, 3 years ago, we started streaming live in VR from our stage. This year, we continue to do that, but we also introduced AR elements into our app to offer deeper engagement during the live performances to our fans. And what that essentially did, as the performances were happening, there were unique AR elements that were being released in real time, so that when Camila Cabello was about to take the EMA stage, fans were notified via notification that Camila is about to take on the stage, so that in itself drives back to linear viewing. But also, fans unlocked the elements that were unique to that performance. So as she's on stage singing Havana Onana, a Cuban flag appeared as the fans were able to use their devices into their living rooms or wherever they were at and experience these additional elements that accompanied those performances. Those elements were also interactive, so fans could tap for different effects, again, that tied back to that specific performance in real time. And they were also able to save the assets, save images, videos of them interacting with those elements, and being able to save them or share with their friends on social media. And, you know, excited to say that we won the Shorty Award for Best Augmented Reality this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And are you going to keep doing this type of experiences for the next awards, or?
Yeah, I mean, we continuously experiment with new storytelling, new platforms. We have to be everywhere our audience is. We've experimented with Facebook bot technology. We've been experimenting with VR in different N360 in different forms. So I think AR offers just an additional level of engagement and bringing the fans into those experiences. And again, there's a huge opportunity for experimentation, so I think we will continue to experiment.
Great. We'll get back to this later, to this in our discussion in the open questions. Now with Steve, he's going to show us a clip, a sizzle reel, and then some content of the AR project in the Natural History Museum project. So. Can we play the first video, please?
Hold the World is an interactive virtual reality experience.
Welcome to London's Natural History Museum.
And I shall invite you to look and select a number of objects. You'll be able to pick it up.
Got it.
Turn it around, bring it closer to you, take it farther away, and in the end, you can make it come to life. It's one of the most convincing and bewitching visual experiences that the world of technology has yet produced.
Well, if you can comment on it.
Yeah, so that's an application that Factory 42 did for SkyVR in association with Telltale and Talesmith and also DRI. And it's an illustration of the kinds of applications coming out of our video hologram work. In this case, we had a very important person who's a credible authority on something, and we want to bring him to these immersive experiences like you'd find in VR or AR. And so we do these video hologram captures of people. And it's almost always people or animals, because having the moving organic things really is the thing of interest to people. I think what we'll show next is the sizzle reel. It kind of gives you a glimpse of all of what we do.
Great, Steve. You have another video that can show an overview of the work. So please, if you can play the video.
Thanks. That gives you a little idea of what we're up to. The concept is it's a type of content that if you see it on a normal 2D flat screen, you would think it's video, but you can change the viewpoint while it's playing. Or if you have it in an immersive experience, it can be there in the room with you as a full volumetric representation, much like a hologram. That's why we use the term hologram. We have a stage in Redmond that captures and produces this stuff. Also in San Francisco, we have a partner in London who does this as well as a licensee, and we're standing up in Los Angeles soon. So for us, this is a very real thing. You come, you pay your money, get your hologram, and you can play it back on all kinds of different devices, everywhere from normal cell phones like you saw in the clip, all the way up to high-end devices like a HoloLens. And it's a real thing right now.
Thanks, Steve. So we get back later to this with the questions. Finally, Leen also has brought a clip of Sense VR, right?
Before we show the clip, I just want to highlight a bit. So when you will watch the clip, you will definitely see it's VR. So the original technology is called WebVR, and only since December the industry has rebranded it to WebXR, basically because engineers of Google and Microsoft and Mozilla and Samsung actually defined that the WebVR standard should include AR as well. So it's very difficult to show you web AR examples. Only Google can do that at this point. But I did bring you some web VR examples, and before looking at those, it's very important to understand that they're not built in a native application. They're built on the web, so they're distributed via the browser, via one URL that adapts to the device that is showing the content.
Okay, we can play the video, please.
She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies.
Vous êtes dans une salle d'opération du Centre hospitalier universitaire de Nantes. Ici, nous mettons en œuvre un traitement innovant des anévrismes de l'aorte. Grâce aux technologies réunies dans cette salle, nous traitons cette pathologie entièrement de l'intérieur, sans avoir à effectuer d'incision cutanée. Pour cela, le matériel est miniaturisé et va être introduit à travers la peau.
So yes, what is quite important is the first one was just a non-interactive player for 360 video on the web, and the other two was with interactivity. And the last project that was shown with a little bump there was for Arte, so the French broadcasters, the French-German broadcaster, where we basically are rebuilding an existing experience that was built for native applications. We're rebuilding it to the web, so basically to make it much more accessible, engaging, and available across devices.
Okay, thank you, Leen. Let's go to the topic, the main topic, and the question that we launched in this panel. We have listened and seen the Pokémon Go experiences, you know, like the most practical example of this. But behind that, where is now AR? Is it really leading the discussion? Because we were listening at the beginning VR, but it seems that now AR is getting on the forefront. Karmelina, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it is, because with ARKit and AR Core, suddenly millions of users have the capability in their mobile devices. It doesn't require cumbersome headsets. It doesn't require an expensive setup at home. So it's just the mobility and accessibility is definitely what's changing the equation. So I would say yes, it is.
And Steve, is this because virtual reality is struggling to get the mass adoption, or is something independent?
It's a really interesting question. I'm not sure I'm the best person to authoritatively answer that one, but I think we view it as kind of a spectrum. VR and AR aren't competing things. They're opposite ends of a spectrum where you have digital assets locked into some world. Maybe you see all the pixels, maybe you don't. And we treat it as one cohesive thing. We call it mixed reality. And so that distinction is a little less meaningful for us, and we think over time, as the devices mature, it'll be less meaningful for consumers too. But right now, I would agree that the cell phone AR traction is great. Anybody just immediately has this functionality in their hands versus having to go buy a separate device, and you can show some really amazing things with that.
Great. And Leen, we saw in your video many applications like in learning or formation, I guess, for AR. Is this, well, what is really the killer application of AR, you know?
I think that's an interesting question. If you look at the data that is available about mostly, specifically the AR kit applications, then I think more than 50% is still games. Then I think second is utility, third is lifestyle, and then you have entertainment. And I think that corresponds well with how it's today available via the mobile. So I think the IKEA app is a good example of something that is a big brand. Everyone knows what the brand does, and then you can actually also use it in your own living room and see AR from your couch. So I think it's a very relevant example, or for beauty brands that you can change your lipstick just by looking at your phone, or your hairdo. So I think those examples are going to be, in the short run, keep on being the most popular one. As for entertainment, I think that's it's more challenging, but therefore as well more exciting. I guess as with VR, you have to think about the fact that there is no frame, so there's definitely an opportunity. But I didn't see, apart from live events in cinematic storytelling in AR, I think I didn't see a good example yet.
And Karmelina, well, in relation to what we are discussing, can AR be a storytelling platform? Do you think that a producer can really get to an idea, a really creative idea, so that to catch the consumer's attention?
Yeah, I think so. But I think you also have to think about what problem you're trying to solve with AR, and how can they help you tell that story, or extend that story, or gamify the story, or even immerse your fans into that storyline or that event. So you really have to think about the environment and how you can integrate that experience into what fans are already doing, because that's going to be the quickest road to success. For us, we have a product out in the market. The EMA app has had a lifetime download count of close to 1 million. So we know that fans are coming to the app to vote for their favorite artists in relation to the show, but also to consume artist content. So to add AR elements that tie back to those artists and that story as the show is happening was really a no-brainer. But you know, you have to think about what those characters. What stories can they tell beyond the traditional media? And you know, a few years ago, it was shocking that kids didn't know that a magazine is a magazine, and they tried to use it as an iPad. Like, what we're going to see in the future is that they're not going to just ask Alexa questions. They're going to want to play with the characters that they have seen on TV. So it's going to be, I want to play with SpongeBob, not I want to watch SpongeBob. So you have to constantly think about those experiences, how they're going to evolve in the future, and position yourself to succeed by experimenting now.
Thank you. Well, in relation to what Karmelina has said, and I don't know if from Microsoft, with the partners you work with, do they bring you ideas to put on a real project? Do you have a creative team that work on that to figure out how to do it finally? Please tell us how this works?
Yeah, I mean, in our part of the world where we're doing these holograms for people, it's all brought to us by clients. People coming to us, they have a concept, they want a human in this concept, whether it's VR, AR, phone, whatever, and then we enable them and help them out. And we move the features along or maybe advise them on what would work as a hologram in these concepts and engage them that way. But we're there to support the community, and it's a community across any platform that's doing this kind of work. It's not just Microsoft. We believe it's important that right now we get critical mass, people see this as a thing of value and want to engage with it, and then over time we'll all specialize into the things that we really care about. But right now we just support everyone.
So would you say that from Microsoft you have like a real connection and communication with the content side? Do you think it's real now?
Yes, absolutely. The very, very well-known brands and storytellers, like the British Natural History Museum and Sir David Attenborough, are very credible people, and they believe this was a great way to tell that story and engage people in the collection of the museum. And the reaction to it so far, it's not been released in stores yet, but the reaction's been fantastic. It's something that people haven't been able to experience before, certainly not in such an intimate way with him. And so we see it as, that's a kind of storytelling. It's also a kind of education. And we see those things really taking off over time.
And also getting back to your Natural History Museum project, are you going to do some more projects or experiences now, or are you?
That would be up to them. I mean, again, the clients bring their projects to us, so we have dozens of projects in flight right now that we're bidding for them, trying to make happen across, celebrity stuff, pure entertainment, sports education, healthcare, even down to personal memories. So it's a very broad spectrum of people who are approaching us with these ideas for wanting to create experiences. And it could, again, range from these exotic devices to cell phones to web experiences.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Leen, in which phase would you say that AR is right now? Is it a reality? Is it still experimental marketing thing?
If you have millions of downloads in the App Store, I don't think it's still experimental. Like mentioned before, it's still fine-tuning the use cases, but that can only happen if people really start experimenting with it and go further and pushing the boundaries. So I think like mentioned before, the benefit of AR and definitely mobile AR is that people already are using the device in their hand. So access to technology or to entertainment or to healthcare via their smartphone is already there. So I think there will be a lot more use cases and a lot more examples in the future. So for me, it's already happening.
Okay, and well, now a question for the three of you to have your input and your vision about where is the business here? Okay, I think that many producers here are listening to you. They are taking notes that this is something that the industry is demanding and they should work on. But how do a production company gets into this world, and what is the business plan?
All right, I'll start. We were laughing about this before, but there really isn't one, right? But you have to think about how these projects also really affect your brand and affect your IP. The cultural conversation around AR and being part of it and the positive noise that comes around it is a KPI in itself. So it also affects, even company culture. Like, are you seen as a company that's innovative and that really driving new content experiences forward? But it's very hard to figure out that return on investments to say that as a producer, I'm going to spend this amount of money to come up with this experience, and then I expect X or Y in return. So you have to go into it not expecting big numbers, but really consider everything else.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The way to model it is very challenging right now because the audience is changing, the market is growing in different directions. But I can certainly say, you know, we've had plenty of kind of brand activation, advertising things that a lot of people are familiar with, but we definitely have applications that are intending to be businesses. They want to make this experience, make, you know, medical training system, for example, and sell it and make money off of it. And early on, it's a bit of a risk because they don't know exactly how much, but they believe that that's the future, and they want to be the first ones to do that and get that experience early. So it's not just an R&D experiment or just an advertisement anymore. They're doing real work.
When I get this question, I always answer with the same same sentences. Is the fact that I was working in online video for many years. I was here at MIPTV also 4 years ago, and we were always challenged on engagement, number of views, drop-off rate. With VR and AR, when the user actually is leading the camera, is really actually looking to the left and to the right, it's a point of data. So there's a lot of analytics that you can track, so you can evaluate, but you can also improve storytelling based upon that data. So for me, where there's data, there's money. Okay, the business models are not there yet, but they will be defined based upon that data.
Do you have any time for, or when do you expect it to really have this point of it?
When the aggregated data makes sense for a company, so KPI or the return on investment or return on engagement will be high enough, but that can already be on a little sample. So I guess it will be soon, but maybe I'm optimistic.
And do you think that, for example, here in MIPTV, it's a good place for producers to propose any AR projects to, I don't know, to you, to Viacom or Microsoft, or do you think that would you be open to listen to projects or ideas here, or should we go, the producers, to NAB in Las Vegas or IBC to talk to tech people and make it real?
Well, I think it's about content. It's not about, you know, tech people. You have to look at the storytellers. So yeah, it's as good time as any to discuss project. I mean, we're certainly always open, and we're always looking for partners. And an important part of this is that you have to find collaborators, and you have to find startups or other companies that can help you get there. You're not going to build the the super app yourself, so you have to be open to collaboration.
And where should we find these partners? Because you're saying that we need partners, but where are these partners? Where can we find them?
I think, you have to be open to listening, but you also have to, again, look at the startup world, because there's so much opportunity there and so many great ideas. And in many cases, they just need a partner like Viacom or a partner like Microsoft to really bring those ideas forward.
Great. And I don't know if just a brief to finish this session. What has been the lesson you have learned from your AR projects, even with the first ones or the latest ones, but a lesson that all the producers here must have in mind when they go for their AR project?
I think the technologies are limiting, but if you're willing to work within those limits and be creative, you can execute a vision now. And we often do that. People bring us a vision. We may nudge it here and there, but there are very few things where we say, yeah, you just can't do that yet. And if people are able to be flexible, we think there's room for plenty of success right now, being a leader and doing something of value for the company, not just a science experiment.
You want to add some?
Yes, but it's been mentioned before that there are a lot of question marks for recording in 360 VR or AR, but every question mark is an opportunity. So the sooner you start experimenting, the better you will be in the short run. So I would advise everyone to start experimenting.
Okay, so, well, we are running out of time. Thank you very much for your participation in this panel, and thank you all of you to attend it. So we'll see you in the next session with VR. So, well, thank you very much.